Hello and welcome to tonight's LOL Esports Round Up. We're going to cover a bit of news that's taken place over the last 24 hours. Free agency has opened in the LCK and other regions as well. Nest is going on in the LPL if you'd like to watch that. That's a mixture, well, I would argue almost a majority of LDL players in a tournament, end of season tournament that, is interesting to watch if you are looking for some esports to view. Now, as far as this news is concerned, somebody had commented on yesterday's video, and I do have a lot of new subscribers, so I'm going to say this. I do not go over players that re-sign with their team. So if they're going to leave their team and go elsewhere, I will put it up here. Otherwise, if they stay with the team they're on, their contract ends, they stay with the team they're on, I'm going to just, skip over it. Or if a team, there's all these things about, these players are being let go. Well, no, actually, most of them, their contracts have expired. Actually, as far as all the players that KT, D+, and GEN.G let go, all of those players were free agents. HLE's players were free agents. So that's not news. That's not new news. But the changes being made by these teams, GEN.G, so we have, I'd argue, the three best teams or organizations in the LCK. GEN.G have allowed Score to leave. So Score was the coach for only a couple seasons and did great, frankly. I don't know why he was let go. Maybe because they were tearing the team down. He said to himself, I don't want to be here anymore. Maybe they're going through a retooling process. I know that Pays is the only player that was under contract going forward. Score had a 61-11 record in the regular season, 29-14 in playoffs and regionals, and then 24-16 at international events. One of the best junglers of all time. I think there is an argument to be made that he is the best ever. And his first coaching gig, he actually did quite well. So I think that, this is probably more of a situation where a differing of opinions and outlook for the team versus a lack of success. FIFA Hun, he is the GM of the team, so I'm just going to put him up there. He has head coaching experience. Nobody else on the Leaguepedia has head coaching experience for GEN.G right now. He went 71-33 with KT many years ago and then became GM of GEN.G ever since. T1, Coma is back. Coma, the longtime T1 coach, won multiple championships. We also coached with Vici Gaming and D+. With T1, he had a 110-48 record in the regular season. Overall in his career, he's 153-73 in the regular season. He is, you would say, the best coach ever. I did even, there are things to also note, like when he went to BLG, he was somebody that found Kingen and Zeka and imported them into the LPL before anybody really knew who Zeka was, which is something to note, I believe. He also coached Korea's Asian Games team from this past summer, and I think that's also a notable thing that probably got him the job back. Tom, the coach, Tom kind of, it's funny, he takes over, he wins Worlds, and he's like, okay, Coma's back, I'm going back to being just an analyst, a coach, an assistant coach, or whatever. 26-10 in the regular season, 15-16 in LCK playoffs or regionals, but at Worlds and MSI, 22-10 and won Worlds. So he wins Worlds, goes back to being an afterthought in terms of the coaching staff. Coma is the guy on the team. We'll see how much of the roster stays now that Coma is there. I know a lot of people want to, T1 says they want to keep them, but it is a matter of also what do these people want? Do they want generational wealth or do they want to win again? I mean, if I'm a player, I would go with the generational wealth because I've already won, but, up to them. And then lastly, D+ Kia have made a couple moves. Zepha returns as the coach. He was the coach when they won Worlds, I believe. He's 46-26 with Dam1 Kia and Dam1 Gaming at the time, formerly now D+. Over his career, he's 116-64. He also coached T1 in two separate occasions, as well as somebody else in the LPL, I believe. So 116 and 64, a solid coach, former world champion, and D plus are going to be building around what looks to be Showmaker, only because like Showmaker is a free agent, but he's the only player of the roster that they did not announce. Well, actually, Showmaker and Kellen. No, I think they let Kellen. Did that have Kellen in, or was it just Kana, Canyon, and Deft? I know I know Showmaker wasn't in their little blurb that they said, thank you for playing with us or whatever. So maybe they're building around Showmaker. I don't know. Acorn was their coach. He went 23 and 13 in the regular season, 8 and 7 in playoffs and regionals, went 4 and 4 at Worlds. That was his first international experience as a coach. D plus left a lot to be desired. That's without a doubt. And he was a longtime KT coach before this. I'm sure he will find a landing spot somewhere. Excuse me. The only player move to talk about, Bible. So the thought was that Bible would replace Kellen on this upcoming roster, but instead Bibles went from support to streamer, which sounds like a retirement. Had a 2.8 KDA, 67.1 KP in 13 games with D plus Kia in the LCK. I thought he did fine. Was he as good as Kellen in my opinion? No. I think that to some people that might be a hot take. Bible, though, provided shot calling abilities that the team really needed. So there's a trade-off there. 113 damage per minute. Vision score 3.28 per minute. Placed about 9 wards every 5 minutes, 3 control wards every 5 minutes, and would clear 2 wards every 5 minutes. So definitely placed a ton of wards. 6 champions in 13 games. The only other support the next support in the depth chart is Thumb. Thumb is only 16 years old in August, like this past August, so he's very young. I doubt that he's playing with D plus going forward, but he is the next player in the depth chart. Had a 2.6 KDA, 70.3 KP in Bible's place after he left. 122 damage per minute. 327 vision score per minute, and placed only 8 wards every 5 minutes, 2 control wards every 5 minutes, and cleared more than 2 wards every 5 minutes. So lower level of play, but very young. And if you compare those 13 games from LCK versus Thumb's 29 games in the Challengers, Thumb actually got the same amount of vision score, placing less wards, and actually cleared more wards, which is something to note. But then again, like I said, he's very, very young. D plus have a fantastic organization when it comes to prospect pool. It's, in my opinion, the deepest one in LOL Esports. We go over that in previews before the season started, and I do remember how deep that pool is. Thanatos, Lucid, Pol Bay, Rahel. I mean, the fact that you can name all the players on an academy team or a challengers team, just like that, you know how good those players are, especially when they didn't even win. DRX's did. DRX, though, a lot of older players on that team relative to D+, so, experience does play a role eventually. However, that's just irrelevant. We're just kind of blabbering now. We'll see what moves actually get announced going forward, what players switch teams. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.